You're watching College Football Now by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest news and rumors on the possibility of Bill Belichick heading to North Carolina. We'll catch you up to speed with what you need to know on that. Also, we have reaction to the first ever 12-team college football playoff. I'll give you my takeaways from what the committee did on Selection Sunday. We'll talk a little bracketology coming up in just a bit. Before we do, folks, if you want even more college football content than ever before from Chat Sports, we need you guys to subscribe to the channel as we're talking everything from transfer portal to hot boards. Also, counting you down to the college football playoff and more. Bosses say if we get 20 subs off today's video, then I get to do a recruiting video later in the week. So, if you guys want to make that happen, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV to subscribe for free today. According to new reports from ESPN, the talks between North Carolina and the legendary coach Bill Belichick are ongoing on the possibility of sending Belichick to Chapel Hill. He went on the Pat McAfee show today and talked about the possibility of what things would look like if he was the head coach at North Carolina, emphasizing that there would be an NFL-type structure in this new age of college football with how they would operate with the GM and with their scouts and personnel department and so on. Pete Thamel and Chris Lowe of ESPN put out this report on Belichick in North Carolina saying the following. Talks between North Carolina and Bill Belichick for the school's open head coaching job remain ongoing, according to sources. Sources told ESPN that talks between UNC and Belichick 73 have continued with some type of resolution either way expected this week. Belichick is expected to make multiple public appearances this week, which could add some clarity to the level of his interest. The NCAA transfer portal opens Monday, which leaves UNC's roster potentially in flux. Sources told ESPN that Belichick has met with UNC officials at least once in New York last week, and dialogue has continued. So, here are 5 things you need to know about this situation involving Belichick in North Carolina. John Summerall, the head coach at Tulane, was expected to be the other leading candidate for this job and is no longer a candidate. He is returning to Tulane for 2025. Meanwhile, Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is no longer engaged in the job as he's expected to remain with the Steelers going forward. While Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell, his name had come up after a very impressive season as Iowa State won 10 games for the first time in about 100 years and went to their conference title game. He's not expected to be a candidate and will remain in Ames. While UNC has spoken with Army head coach Jeff Monken about the opening, but questions remain if Monken would run a modern spread offense or if he would bring the triple option to North Carolina. And then when it comes to Belichick, issues remain in regards to these discussions about a role for his son, Stephen Belichick, who's currently the defensive coordinator of the Washington Huskies, and about the possibility of him being the coach in waiting behind Bill. They're also discussing the NIL structure, salary, and resources potentially for a coaching staff there in Chapel Hill. What you can't deny is momentum is there for Belichick in North Carolina. It seems like the wheels are moving towards a deal getting done between these two sides. And if you're the North Carolina Tar Heels, you're looking to make a splash. And how many opportunities are you going to have to potentially hire the greatest head coach of all time, a 6-time Super Bowl champion? Why would you not hire Bill Belichick? This is going to give you so much publicity and so much excitement for your university, especially as this school is looking to potentially make a move down the line to the Big Ten or the SEC. This can send a statement to the power brokers in college football that although North Carolina is traditionally a basketball school, that they are very serious about competing at the football level. And even if you have to guarantee Belichick that Steven is going to be the coach in waiting and have a significant role here. If it doesn't work out with Belichick, you know what happens? You fire Belichick and you fire Steven. So although he could be the coach in waiting, let's see how the process potentially plays out. I think if you're North Carolina, this is worth a shot to see what Belichick could potentially do. Let's ask you, should North Carolina hire Bill Belichick? Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered, including tickets to the College Football Playoff National Championship game in Atlanta. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. Check out that seat. See if you like it or not with their seat views. And then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They also have their seat views and get the visuals, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of College Football Now by Chat Sports. All right, let's react to the first ever 12-team college football playoff bracket that was revealed yesterday. We've asked for over a decade who's in, and now we get our first crack at an expanded playoff field, going from 4 teams to 12. Here is what the bracket looks like. Oregon gets the number 1 overall seed, the only undefeated remaining in college football, the champions of the Big Ten Conference. Georgia winning the SEC title, defeating Texas. They get the number 2 seed, while Boise State winning the Mountain West Conference. A bit of a surprise. They jump in, getting one of the automatic bids and first-round buys out of the Mountain West Conference. Just one loss to the number 1 ranked Oregon Ducks. Arizona State gets the 4 seed out of the Big 12. An impressive finish to the season for the Sun Devils. And then the first-round matchups. The teams that do not have buys, they'll be hosting home games, include number 5 Texas against number 12 Clemson in Austin, number 6 Penn State against SMU in Happy Valley. Got a bit of an Indiana showdown between number 7 Notre Dame and number 10 Indiana. And then number 8 Ohio State taking on number 9 Tennessee, that game in Columbus. So here's my takeaways from the college football playoff bracket. Let's start with the team that got in and the team that got left out. SMU over Bama was the right call, and for a couple of reasons. For one, you can't penalize SMU for losing an ACC title game by a field goal. They very well could have won that game. They played their C-level game, and yet they almost pulled it off. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bama was sitting at home, had a week off, while SMU was contending for a conference title. So at the end of the day, are you really going to punish a team when another one was sitting out? To me, that doesn't make a ton of sense. And Bama has no one to blame but themselves. They lost 3 games, including 2 games to 6-win football teams in Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. And it wasn't too long ago that they got blown out by Oklahoma, who is not a good football team. SMU deserves to be in. And I got to tell you, I think they have a pretty decent chance at knocking off Penn State on the road. We'll see how the weather looks in Happy Valley for this one, but the Ponies come in as 7.5-point underdogs. They have an explosive offense. James Franklin's been known to struggle in some of these big games in the past. I'm watching out. SMU, I think, has a pretty good chance to pull off an upset there against the Nittany Lions. The big winners of this college football playoff bracket reveal, I think, were Boise State and Arizona State. To begin the week, Boise State and Arizona State didn't even know if they were going to be in the playoff. They had to win their conference championship games to make the postseason, and then the dominoes fell where they needed to. Both of them played well enough in their conference championship games, not only to win their conference and earn a spot in the playoff, but also for each of them to get first-round buys. Boise State will head to the Fiesta Bowl. They'll await the winner of Penn State and SMU, while Arizona State goes to the Peach Bowl. They await the winner of Texas and Clemson. And realistically speaking, for both of those teams, those are pretty favorable matchups. You get a Texas team potentially that hasn't looked as good as what they once were. I don't think Clemson is that great of a football team. And then Boise State, we mentioned the issues that Penn State's had in some big games. And SMU is a team that Boise State probably feels they can go toe-to-toe with. You're in a really good spot if you're either Arizona State or Boise State, all things considered, compared to what you were just a week ago. Meanwhile, Oregon, I know they're the top seed, but they did not get any favors from the College Football Playoff Committee. And to be honest, it's not even the committee's fault necessarily of Oregon's tough path. It's the system that's in place that makes things difficult for Oregon as the number one seed. This is not like the NFL playoffs where the top seed is guaranteed to face the lowest remaining seed. It's not like, let's say, Clemson beats Texas, then Oregon all of a sudden plays Clemson. No, they are going to play Ohio State or Tennessee no matter what. And you think about this, Ohio State and Tennessee, I know they each have 2 losses, but each of them looks very good at times and have very good rosters. Ohio State and Tennessee are both talented enough to win the entire thing. And so for Oregon to get stuck in the Rose Bowl waiting for Ohio State or Tennessee, that's not great when you could have teams like Indiana or SMU or Clemson potentially pull off upsets, and they're getting to face these other teams. Georgia is the 2 seed, awaits Notre Dame and Indiana, and they have a much easier path as the 2 seed than Oregon does as the 1 seed. So with that said, I like this Oregon team a lot. I think they're the favorites to win the national title, but the way this is set up, it's not favorable for them as that number 1 seed. Who will win the national title when it's all said and done? Will it be those Oregon Ducks, or will it be somebody else in the field? Get your predictions in the comment section. Let us know. For continuing college football coverage, subscribe now to College Football Now by Chat Sports. I'm Tyler Jones. Appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time.